I walked my aunt's dog today. My aunt was away, attending a pro-life rally at Missouri's capital, accompanied by my mother and a woman who my mother assumed would bring an awful lunch. The dog, whose name is Woola, walked with me to a golf course hidden in the heart of my hometown, a course I hadn't known existed until now. The houses have their backs turned on the golf course, and their backyards, at some indiscernible point become fairways, and fair game for the golfers. It was cold and cloudy this morning, and there were no golfers. Just a dog who amused himself by marking the holes as his territory, or at least he tried to, but at this point in our walk he had already used up all of his marking material on hydrants and mailboxes. Our second expedition took place at 3:30, as school buses swarmed the streets, spitting children onto sidewalks. This time, Woola and I went in the opposite direction of the golf course, and found ourselves face to face with a chained-off entrance to a mysterious road. Naturally, I was hesitant to trespass past the flimsy yet official chain barrier, but Woola had no such moral quibbles, and walked underneath the chains without so much as a tremor of conscience. It being my sworn duty to stay by his side, I stepped under the boundary, and onto the mysterious road also, so that we might at the very least be convicted together, and thrown in the same cell to await trial. Fortunately, no authorities arrived, so we continued our trespass uninterrupted. The road occupied the side of a barren hill. Houses, offices, and even lawn care seemed to have eluded the plots of land that this road cut through. There was just tall grass and raccoons darting from one sewer to another. And a big, gray, fast-moving sky. The road led us to one dead end, and then to another, from which we could observe the bottom of our hill, and the Del Mar Gardens Assisted Living Center, which sat on the next hill over, partially hidden from view by a copse of leafless trees. My granddad once spent a few days in that assisted living center near the end of his life, but he did not like it there, so he returned to Hidden Lake, to be with his wife. He would sometimes cry without apparent provocation. Eventually, the mysteriously meaningless road led us into another neighborhood. This neighborhood was more secluded than my aunt's, with bigger houses and neater lawns. Here we walked up Bielefeld Drive, down Bielefeld Court, and over Bielefeld Lane, until finally we found the great river to which these Bielefelds paid tribute. Woola strained at the leash as we walked along this busy road, eager to greet the cars that pranced past at 40 miles an hour, perhaps wishing to acquaint them with his method for marking territory. To conclude our walk, Woola tried to swallow a whole buttermilk biscuit at once. It was hard as a rock, so I was able to pry most of it out of his stubborn maw.